Hello and welcome once again to another edition of IFN News, and in today's show...
Paula Peters, you've campaigned tremendously. There's been a lot of pressure on you. You've suffered very much online from abuse, vitriolic abuse from people. Perhaps people even thought were there to help you and they haven't been. What's actually happened now in the last few days has been really quite stunning. Margaret Hodge seems to have invoked her 12 disciples to try to bring her wrath upon her leadership. What is your take on this?
To be honest with you, I think it's absolutely treacherous what Margaret Hodge and Anne Coffey and all the MPs who've resigned from Jeremy's cabinet today. Jeremy won with a clear mandate last September. I was one of those who voted for him. The grassroots movement spoke last year. He won with a hell of a lot of support from them. And, you know, John and Jeremy have been a great support to a lot of disabled campaigners and campaigns, and we're fully behind them, because if we get another Blairite leader, there's not a fag paper between to choose that and the Tories, really. We had that in 2010, and people just disengaged with the political debate. And of course, disabled people have really borne the brunt of so many of the cuts these past 6 years. And I think it's important to stress to people out there that disabled, so many have died in mental distress, have taken their own lives because of the work capability assessment, because of sanctions. They're being evicted over the bedroom tax, and they're being hit by an avalanche, a tsunami of cuts. And we know, I live in London, and we've had Boris Johnson for 8 years. He's screwed over London terribly. He hates disabled people, he hates trade unionists, he hates workers' rights, he hates human rights. If he gets to be Prime Minister, it will be an absolutely dark day for this country. And I mean, what we've seen in the last couple of days is just people tearing lumps out of each other because they voted Leave or they voted Remain, and the left has just become so fractured. I've seen so much hatred, so much division on social media and out on the street. And what I would say to people now, we have to somehow find common ground and ways to work together. We've got to find ways to build our campaigns and resist this Tory government, because if we don't, we are seriously screwed. And I'll tell you something now, and I can't stress this strongly enough, with the new leadership, more cuts are coming, and they are going to be disastrous. It's just a disaster. But we haven't stopped fighting, so disabled people against cuts. We are having a national day of action against personal independence payments on the 13th of July. So I advise people to check out the DPAC website and get involved in our action. We're going to be down at Capita PLC 71 Victoria Street at 1:15 that day. And next week we're having an action outside 44 Hallam Street about the work cure therapy, with psychologists involved in the IAP programme in job centres, and there's a conference on the 5th of July at 9 o'clock. And we're going to be having a week of action in September, from the 4th of September to the 10th. So there are campaigns that are doing stuff. So what I'd say to people is get involved in a campaign, get involved in your local library campaign, get involved in fighting back the Tories, because the Tories caused this hatred and division in the first place. David Cameron caused this mess and he's just walked away from it. And we've seriously got to unite now, put our differences aside and kick some Tory ass.
Well, Paula, there is one question I would like to ask you. You're a terrific campaigner. There's been massive efforts made by yourself, huge successes. Now, for those people who have never campaigned before, but they now realise for the first time they've gone out and voted, they've made a decision, either way, they've now got to do something about it. What's your simple few words of advice, please, for someone who's going to embark upon campaigning?
There's campaigns out there. There's your local NHS campaign for your local hospitals, your local library campaign for your local library. There's many campaigns in the fight for disability rights if you're disabled. Just Google, just put in a search bar what's going on if you're on the computer, or if you see something you think, yeah, I want to get involved in that, just go along and join it, and you learn as you go along with campaigning. That's how I did.
Paula Peters, as always, thank you so much for your time today.
No problem.
From the team and myself, thanks for joining us today.